Yeah, these are my buddies right here. Eating bread. They're eating some of the kibble. I wanted to get them crunching, you know, and some of the sounds of them eating. You can see down there at the bottom right of the frame is the microphone. The big boy right there standing right next to the microphone. So we'll let them eat and we'll see what's up. I have hot dogs out there. They like my Yorkies dog food, the kibble, and I just got some rolled up pieces of bread. They typically like the hot dogs the best. I'm gonna put a little bit more out there. They usually eat that first. If this is the group that's familiar to me, they actually aren't bothered by me. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and we'll see how they act when I come out there. The group I've come to know is a mother and what I refer to as the three babies. Like I said, I've been doing this about probably about 4 or 5 months. The way I came in contact with them is I was doing bird photography, and I had a bird feeder, that was kind of low to the ground, and it was broad daylight. It was probably about 3 in the afternoon or so, and the mother had come out. I didn't know it was just the mother and the babies at the time, but the mother came out, and she went to the feeder and plucked off the fruit. And I didn't mind at the time. I was considering feeding her, but I was like, well, I'll just let her do what she's doing. Then all of a sudden I heard some rustling kind of in the weeds adjacent to the property, back into the property, and I see these little three faces, and I was like, damn. So I was like, I know they're hungry, and she's kind of teaching them how to forage. So I made the decision to start feeding them. I knew what was going to happen when I made the decision, and at that time they would show up at about 6:30 p.m. every day, and it would be daylight. So they must have been kind of more on the hungry side and wasn't getting fed regularly or receiving food regularly, and so they would literally come about 6:30 every day. So that started my relationship with the mother and the three babies. They're pretty much grown up now, and they'll eat. And once they kind of have their fill, even if there's some left, they'll just leave. And there's about two other groups that show up that are not comfortable with me. The mother and the three babies have become comfortable with me. I can actually go out there and sit with them. They'll eat out of my hand, and they're not too afraid of me. I don't do that, but they will do that. They'll come right up to my ankles or close to me. And then the other group that comes, they're real skittish, and they don't fight. Somebody's Yeah, like I said, there's different groups. So it sounds like another group has showed up, and you heard that fighting going on. It usually, doesn't last very long. I don't typically have to intervene. If it's too much going on, I'll go out there, step on the deck, kind of stomp on it a little bit, and kind of break them up. One might run off or whatever. The ones that don't know me will run off, and the ones that do know me, they'll kind of remain. I can't tell them apart. So a little bit, like if they were all together, maybe like markings on their feet or the shape of their face, something like that. I can kind of tell a little bit. There's one of them that's real fond of me. He kind of is like the leader of the pack of the three. There they are right there. That's the three, what I call the three babies. And yeah, so, and then the other groups will come. I typically try to just feed the enough for the fighting again. Usually try to feed the mother and the three babies because those are the ones I become acquainted with. But whatever's left, I let whatever get it. There's also a baby possum that pops up every now and then, and actually will commingle with them, and they don't fight or anything that I'm aware of. I haven't seen them fight. I don't know what's going on under the deck. I think it's another group of raccoons. There's a mother and a baby. I call it a baby, or its offspring, whatever you want to call it. And they'll show up too. And then there's another group of about four of them, and they're big. I mean, they're wide. I call them wide body. And they'll eat or whatever. Their temperament with me kind of remains the same. They haven't shown me any aggression. They're very skittish and scary. Yeah, so you can hear them doing their thing there. But I'm gonna, in a minute, go out here and get their attention. So they stop all that. So that's about the only thing I intervene with. So yeah, so there's one just scooped up something. So yeah, that's the story. How I come to be, and I have to put out extra, not because I necessarily want to feed the other groups, but sometimes the other group will show up before my group shows up. So then they start to eat what I put out for the mother and the three babies, and now they don't have nothing. So I have to kind of put out enough for everybody so that my group gets their share. Yeah, and there's a coyote that shows up every now and then. Like right now, I'm looking out the window, and I can, because of the way that you can't see it, but obviously the way the light is set up, I can see it when it breaks the darkness and comes into the light from my back porch light. And then I just kind of walk out on the deck, make a couple noises, or kind of walk towards the coyote to shoo him off. I wouldn't want him to harm the raccoons. I know there's people that don't like the raccoons or whatever, but I'm not trying to feed the coyote. I ain't got nothing against him, but I'm not trying to feed him. He has come and plucked the food before, and then nobody got nothing, and then they run off. They'll run off when predators come. Certain sounds, they'll vacate the area, and that's what this one's doing here. They're always looking for predators and stuff like that. So when he's looking like that, he's actually looking, make sure nothing's coming. But I got his back. And then, they'll disappear into the darkness. There has been a time when the mother will leave and the babies, will still be under. They don't realize she left. But they're very cunning. They actually they can smell with the mother's path, and they'll actually go the direction that she left. There's one leaving, like right now. I don't know if it's the mother. And, typically once I put out all the food and everything, tonight, like I said, I don't work tomorrow, so I'm just kind of watching them. I'm actually connected remotely to my Sony A1 camera. I got my cell phone. I can actually see them. I can walk through the house and actually watch them as I'm recording. I have a wireless mic set up. So I got one of the wireless mics you can see down there, the bottom right, the little black, and you can see a little bit of light going. So I got a mic directly into their environment. I have the other wireless mic in my hand. I'm in the house, and it's a Hollyland Lark 150 set, and so that's how I'm able to talk. Um, and Basically, I have two microphones, so one's in the field and one's in my hand. And then when I don't want to talk, I just mute it and go from there. So, and the camera's like posted right where you can see it, and they don't seem to mind it, and they're doing their thing, and I'm doing mine, doing the recording. Um, my intention wasn't really to feed them, but it's kind of hard to say no to babies when they're hungry.